Good morning, everyone. It's a rainy day here in North Carolina, but thanks for joining us this morning as we've got driver of the number 38 Boot Barn Ford Mustang. Look at that hat, shirt. We're ready to go. Looking good. Todd Gilliland joining us this morning. And Todd, it seems every time I've turned on Sirius XM satellite radio, you've been on this week. So you've been all over the map here doing lots of media stuff as we get ready for COTA. If you've got a question for Todd, raise your hand. And we'll go for as long as we need to this morning. So let's get started. Todd, we'll kick you off with Bob Pockris. Okay, go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, Todd, we always hear that when you lose a crew chief, it impacts some teams some way, some teams another. I'm curious how that impacted you guys last week and just how big there's been a lot of arguments on how severe that penalty should be for the wheels coming off. I'm curious how you feel, how severe that is to not have Seth for 4 weeks.
Yeah, so it's definitely never a good thing, especially being a rookie, trying to work with my crew chief for the first time. It happened in our second race of the season, so I feel like we were just getting a good flow of our rhythm every weekend, and just have that broken up now for 4 weeks is really, really tough. But we have my truck series crew chief Chris Lawson calling the races. But, so we're still down a guy throughout the whole, tech process, throughout practice to make changes. Obviously, we can still be in communication with Seth as far as text message, calling him after. But, just that small communication gap that we have now where you don't have time to have that gap. Like, you have to make decisions faster than ever with, limited practice and all this. So I think to answer the first part, it's really tough to have just a communication gap. And it's honestly, it gets frustrating at times just because you don't get answers as fast as you would like to. And then as far as the severity of the penalty, obviously I think we're kind of biased to it, but we think it's a little bit too much for us just because, at least to my understanding, and like I said, I'm probably getting one side of the story, but the rule was kind of created back when crew chiefs were the ones kind of making the call of how many lug nuts to put on. And nowadays you're not trying to get an advantage. I guess you're trying to have fast pit stops, so that leads to mistakes. But the rule is kind of come up with in a different era of pit stops and lug nuts than we are in now.
And I also wanted to check on what happened at Phoenix. Because it was kind of a little bit hard to tell from the video, just as what happened with you and your car. Not Phoenix, I'm sorry, Atlanta.
Yeah, at Atlanta, I definitely feel super, super dumb about that. So we got in the first wreck. We bent a right rear toe link, so we were on pit road. We went 5 laps down with that. We were just trying to get them back. We took one wave around. Me and the 34 did at the same time, so we ended up pitting and coming back out. We ended up together drafting, and then it was a lack of communication, I guess, a lack of me asking what I should do. I've never really gotten lapped like super quick like that. And, especially at like a super speedway type place, it's probably the worst possible scenario. But just throughout practice and stuff, I had seen guys getting out of the draft on top. So in my mind, I never really even thought twice that, we were both just going to go to the top once the pack was, half straight away back, and we were just going to get out of the way that way. But then as soon as I moved up and I saw the 34 stay in the bottom, I knew I had screwed up pretty big. So, I guess just should have asked, and I feel really, really bad about obviously just making myself look dumb, first off, by making the pack split us. I've been on the other side of it, and it's super, super frustrating when lap cars do that. So I feel bad about it, but like I said, I guess communication error, I should have asked. But then the wreck, I feel like I just got too high. I was top of 4 wide, 3 wide, and I was trying to get out of the way best possible. And then I got up into the dirt and kind of just spun out.
Thanks.
Thank you, Bob. Let's go to Zach Sterniolo, NBC Sports. Go ahead, Zach.
Hey, Todd. You head into this weekend, you obviously had the win in the Truck Series here a year ago. Having those extra laps already on a track like this that, the Cup Series guys really only got to race in heavy rain conditions last year. How does that help you heading into this weekend, knowing that, not only did you run well here a year ago, but you ended up in victory lane.
Yeah, I think it just gives me a lot of confidence, especially, so we talk about the next gen car being the equalizer, and then COTA also, everyone's only been there one time. And I didn't realize, talking to my teammate Michael McDowell, that they only ran like one lap in the dry all weekend, which was for qualifying, I believe. So we were able to practice in the dry the day before, and even that, I feel like I have more laps in the dry than anyone there. So it should be. I'm just really looking forward to it. It's a beautiful racetrack. I love road course racing in general. It's a lot of fun. It seems like you're always busy inside the car. So I'd just say overall, I have a lot of confidence going to COTA, and I'm just super excited about it in general.
And how would you evaluate the whole of your season so far? Obviously, 5 races in now. I know you kind of lamented what happened last week at Atlanta, but it seems like you've been running well. Have you been meeting your own expectations? How do you evaluate these first 5 races from your seat?
I think through the first 5 races, I'm actually kind of happy with how it's been going. It's hard to set real expectations, but I'd say the first 4 races, at least. Obviously, last week I feel like went really bad, probably as bad as possible for me. But before that, I feel like we've been staying out of trouble. I feel like I've been racing, good cars, good drivers, and I feel like gaining their respect for the most part. And then that's hard to do over a course of 500 miles, 400 miles is be the one that doesn't make the mistake. So I feel good about that. And like I said, I think overall it's been going really well.
Thanks, Todd.
Okay, Zach, thank you. Let's go to Kevin. Kevin, you're up.
Yeah, Todd, this is a little bit off of what Zach just asked, but I'm the reporter for the Austin newspaper. So just curious about your thoughts on COTA and what the particular challenges are, and just, what makes for a good road course racer?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I feel like just to be a good road course racer, I always joke with my team. I was just joking with them yesterday. Like, it's pretty simple when you think about it. You just gas it as hard as you can and brake as late and as hard as you can into the next corner. So that's what I've always just had a lot of fun with it. You just drive as hard as you can every single lap. But I think the next gen car is just going to be challenging in general on the road course. Front Row Motorsports has never been to a test with it. So we're just kind of putting our best guess out there, which I guess that's kind of how it's been, all year going to the racetrack. But I think there's just not much notes on the next gen car that's going to race on a road course. So we're going to be learning a lot every single lap. And but I think the biggest thing that makes a road course racer good is just being really precise on where they hit every line, every lap.
Thank you.
I remember Mark Martin saying one time when asking about what it takes to be a good road course racer, and he said, go as fast as you can and don't end up in a ditch. So I know we don't have ditches at COTA, but you generalized it pretty simply. Let's go to Dustin Long. Go ahead, Dustin, you're up.
Thanks. Hey, Todd, I've got a couple of things, but want to go back to what you're talking about with Atlanta with the incident. Do you have to go and talk to Cody, or did Cody reach out to you because of what happened kind of contributed to that? Or did you have to talk to anybody else and just say, look, I understand what I did in this situation, and just kind of move on from that?
Yeah, so I texted Cody right after. It's kind of bad situation, but I guess okay. He just started working out at the same place I did like the week before. So I just talked to him for the first time, and then I will go and do that. So I texted him right away. I felt really bad. Like he said, he was running a really good race. It's tough to stay on the lead lap for these things. And, obviously he was doing a really good job of that. So I always hate to take people out by dumb mistakes. But as far as everyone else, I didn't even know where to start. Like you said, literally the whole field passed me, and I knew we were in a bad spot. So I didn't reach out to anyone else, but obviously, I feel bad that I did it to everyone.
Also, I'm curious, this car is supposed to be able to take more of an impact, and kind of what have you noticed with, the issue you had earlier in the race, and just how this car handled it, and what the previous car, what the damage might have done to it, and how it might have affected things.
Yeah, so it is tough. So I feel like I hit the wall decently hard with the right side the first time. And so it's a little bit different. I feel like the right rear bent easier than what it would have with our last year's car. But the difference is with the next gen car, we were able to take the 5 laps and fix it to where I was actually just as competitive as before. Whereas with the old car, it might have not bent as much, but you definitely weren't going to be able to fix it during a race. So I think there's kind of two sides of it. I think the next gen car being able to fix the cars is awesome. I kept saying we were going 5 laps down, but my team and I think we can get to where we can change that part much faster during a race scenario. So, and then just like seeing Ross Chastain, before, if you hit the wall like that with a steel body, the right side's pancaked in, and it's pretty much, it's not going to be a competitive, I think he finished 2nd place. So it's not going to be that competitive when you go back out. So I think that's the biggest thing is the composite body is much nicer. They pop back out, pop off the tire, which is a huge thing. And then just being able to switch out, a rear toe link or some parts during a race, I think will be nicer too.
So last thing is how much will that composite body change things? And especially now, road courses, short tracks, is this going to become like a very physical sport, even more physical sport than what we've seen in the last few years? Because everybody talked about the old car, you make contact and you knock in a fender, and you cut a tire and that messes you up at a short track.
Yeah, I could definitely see it, getting more physical. It almost just takes me back to like watching the Xfinity cars. I just feel like, they don't have a worry in their mind about the body, like it's going to pop back out. So, I mean, it's a good thing for the fans, but also kind of a bad thing, sometimes frustrating thing for the driver. So, I guess we'll see, we'll see how it goes. I think just the Cup Series guys race with a lot of respect. Also, I mean, you see it get really physical sometimes anyway. So, but yeah, I could definitely see it going that way.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Todd.
All right, Dustin, thank you. Let's go to Trey Downey from MRN. Trey, go ahead. You're up.
Hey, Todd, just want to look ahead a little bit to next week at Richmond. You've only raced there twice in a truck, but what's your take on the track in general, and what are you expecting next week going there in a Cup car for the first time?
Yeah, I'm expecting a tough race at Richmond. I had a tough time there in the truck. Just the front straightaway, you don't have much grip at all. You're always just trying to get the power down, and in a really long Cup race with a lot more power, I think will just make that even that much harder. But my team and I have been working really hard, based off Phoenix stuff. Like I said, we just don't have many notes, so we're trying to compare, Phoenix and Richmond, and been in the simulator. So just trying to get our best foot forward. I feel like this is gonna be our first time of kind of having something to go off of. So part of me is really excited that I think we can, like I said, put our best foot forward and unload fast at Richmond. But part of me knows I still have a lot to learn at Richmond also.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go to Nathan Solomon. Go ahead, Nathan, you're up.
Thank you, Todd. Just, a little bit ago, you kind of mentioned that front row hadn't gone to that test at the Roval in October. Just do you think that puts you guys at a disadvantage at all going to COTA?
So I guess there's kind of two parts of it. I mean, I think it puts us at a bit of a disadvantage, just not ever having one on the road course. Just to know, some little things, but also, that test was so early on that so many different parts of the car have changed, so many different rules. So I think, not being there, we're trying to say that, it's maybe not as big of a disadvantage because the rules have changed, but I think certainly going to the road course this weekend, we'd all wish that, front row would have been at that test back then to at least have a little bit of a notebook.
Thank you.
Okay, Bob, did you have a follow-up?
Yes, I'm just curious how you guys are managing. This might be more a question for Jerry, but I think from a driver's standpoint, how are you doing as far as cars? And are you anytime anything bends, or like when you bent something last week, was there any thought of like, well, let's just park it because we can't afford any more damage because how many cars do we have left?
Yeah, so last week I walked in the shop and I think is the most I've ever seen is 7. We had 7 next gen cars, with bodies on them just sitting there. I don't know exactly how many are, race ready, but it's definitely kind of an interesting feeling going to the racetrack, knowing you have one backup car for 2 teams. Not that you ever, want to use it or expect to, but it's just a nice safety blanket to at least know you have a car in the hauler. But so I think it's definitely in the back of your mind. But once you get to the race, I'd say you race as hard as you can. And really, once you wreck, you're still trying to salvage everything you can. It's still a long season. You got to get as many points and the best finish possible every week.
Thank you. And I promise that maybe at least one uplifting question in the future after 3 downers today.
Sweet.
All right, let's go to Arena 4 in Hungary. Dr. Zoltan, making your first appearance. Welcome to the call. You got Todd Gilliland. Go ahead, ask your question.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. Hi, Todd. COTA is the first of 6 road course races this season. Which road course do you think suits your style the most, and which one suits your style the least?
That's a tough question. I think one that I've struggled at in the past is Sonoma, but I haven't ran there since the K&N West days, I think 2017. So I would like to think I've gotten a little bit better since then, and hopefully I'll not struggle as bad there. But I think I would just have to say COTA is probably my best one. I've ran well at Watkins Glen before in the trucks also. So I'm really looking forward to those 2. And, Sonoma, I think I have a lot to learn. And then we're going to a couple new ones. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully, we can just get a good finish here and just build some confidence going into those next ones.
Okay, thank you very much. Just one more question. How do you think the track has changed because of that partial repave? How would you adapt to that?
Yeah, so I think the repave is just going to be, I would hope a lot more grip. So I think we're going back with a little bit softer tire, or even maybe the same as last year. So, and last year we wore out tires like crazy fast in practice when it was in the dry. So hopefully that's not as bad as the tire wear last year, and hopefully it has a little bit more grip, maybe, just a little bit faster lap time. But I think it'll be, going to be a good thing.
Thank you very much, Todd.
All right, thank you, Dr. Zoltan. Todd, we got 2 more here in queue. We'll get to these 2, and then we'll let you go. Let's go to Dustin Long. Dustin, you got a follow-up?
Yeah. Hey, Todd, this weekend, looking at temperatures in the mid 80s in Austin, and obviously, that's a track where you guys already have to work a lot to getting around the course. What is that going to be like heat wise for you guys? And because that'll be the first challenge this season, and how do you try to get through that? The first tough one, I always hear that the first hot race is always a tough one on you guys.
Yeah, that's for sure. I feel like the first one, no matter how much you prepare or not, will always be pretty warm and catch you off guard a little bit. So, yeah, I'm just really looking forward to it. It's still a relatively short race, so this might be a good way to ease you into it. I think it's only like 215-ish miles, 212 miles. So, like I said, short race, but yeah, we're definitely working a lot more than normal, I would say. So, it's just going to be tough. Like you said, it's going to be the first one of the year. You just got to get through it. I think for some guys it might be tough. And just in general, the next gen car is hotter. We've heard that all throughout the off season and everything. So I'm lucky that I got in it after they made all the changes. So I haven't been too bad, but I'm sure this weekend it's going to be really hot in there. And then just the obvious stuff, cool box, cool suit. Got to make sure all that stuff's working right this weekend.
Thank you.
All right, let's close it out. We've got someone from Kicking the Tires. I don't know if it's Jerry or not, but whoever's here for Kicking the Tires, go ahead. You get the last question for Todd.
It's me, and it's Jerry. Real quick, you're coming to Texas. Forgive me, I came in late, but Boot Barn as a sponsor, kind of a Texas theme there, but it's sponsoring a lot of you guys over there. Can you just talk about the relationship and the attraction that you guys are bringing to the sport with these type of sponsors?
Yeah, it is really cool. And it was kind of funny. Me and Zane went to the Boot Barn here in Concord yesterday, actually, and picked out a whole outfit. We actually have a photo shoot today at the shop, but I got some boots. I was joking, a Texas-sized belt buckle. It's got a Longhorn on it. So I'm fully, kitted out to go to Texas this weekend. But yeah, it's really cool to have a national brand like Boot Barn on board. Just really to represent hardworking people. It's really cool.
Excellent. Thanks. I appreciate that.
All right, Todd, we'll let you go get prepared for your photo shoot, get everything put together there. And appreciate you joining us here this morning for a few minutes. Best of luck this weekend at COTA.
Awesome. Thank you. It was good talking to everyone.